Hello friends, this is Jay Wong here, and today we have a little special episode. Today we are going to be doing an unboxing video for my brand new mic, the MXL 990, and as well as the audio interface that comes with it. As well in this video, I want to do a comparison between this mic that I'm currently using right now, which is the Blue Ice Snowball, and as well do a FAQ at the very end because I feel like a lot of people are interested to know how to work an MXL 990 that is not a USB edition, because the one I'm currently using right now does not have a direct input to USB, so that's why the audio interface comes in. So I'll explain that later, but first we're going to unbox the MXL 990 and the interface that I got with it. Alright, so we're going to unbox the MXL 990. Now this microphone comes in a pretty simple box. It feels actually kind of heavy in terms of its weight. I actually thought it was going to be a little bit lighter than usual. And so the front just shows the cover of the microphone and the model type, which is pretty standard. And on the back it shows the pattern and what type of accessory it comes with. It comes with a shock mount. And as you can see here, the equalizer type that it'll show and what it'll pick up, and we'll talk about what the pattern type of pickup it comes with because it's kind of important to note that. On the sides, there's nothing really special. This says the box or the type of product it is. So yeah, we'll just start to open the box, which sometimes takes a little bit of effort because getting behind the camera and having this here is kind of interesting. So we're going to open this, and as you can see, it comes with two things. It comes with a case, which is, I gotta say, is pretty cool because you can carry this around if you really wanted to, even though I wouldn't, and an instruction manual. And we'll show what quickly is in here for a second, just so you can have a good understanding what's inside one of these. Now, inside one of these includes getting the best results for your microphone, which, as you can see here, shows you how to use a microphone vocally as well as instrument type of wise. And now it also shows in the diagram a smaller mic, which would, in my opinion, you'd probably want to use for that type of stuff. Unless you can actually use this for an instrument. You probably could. And the next thing shows the 900 series, what other mics you can get from MXL, and as usual, this shows them other different mics I've never seen before, and they all have different patterns and types of like areas of sensitivity. Very interesting. You can definitely check it out. And also, it should be noted here that there is a 990 USB, but I don't think I'd recommend that. I'll explain later why. And finally, it comes with this instruction manual that also tells you your power requirements, your microphone, and the usual stuff for microphone like specifications. Now we're getting to the real thing, which is the case itself. Now I gotta open this first and see what's inside, and wow, it has a pretty sturdy case from the looks of it. It comes with high dense foam on the bottom and soft foam on the top, which means that if you try to carry this around, it'll be safe. But as I said before, I wouldn't carry my condenser microphone often because they're sensitive, and if you drop them, yeah, that might be the end of your microphone. So it comes in a coating with some silicone at the back, and it comes in a pretty heavy microphone actually. It has a weight to it. I'm not used to it because I'm only used to carrying my Blue Snowball around, and that thing's a little bit lighter, and this is heavier than that, and that's a lot bigger. And as well, it comes with a shock mount that you can use with an arm or a stand. Depending on what you also have, you also might need an adapter for this. And as well, it comes with a normal stand. Now, I don't think I'd ever use this. I don't even know how this works. It just goes on like that. That's kind of scary, actually. I don't know if I could use this as a main way of holding it. So yeah, the shock mount looks a lot more safer and probably more recommended for your recordings. Now we're gonna probably head to my next part, which shows the audio interface. And the audio interface is the most important part because it powers this thing. So we'll go straight to that right now. Alright, so now we have the second part of the unboxing, which includes the Yuphoria UM2. It's an audiophile USB interface with a preamplifier. Now, what's important about this is it comes with 48 volts of phantom power, which is a requirement for my XLR microphone, which I'll talk about later as well in the FAQ. Now, this is, I've heard it got decent reviews. It's made by Behringer. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, and it should work for what I'm doing, just home recording, nothing really too fancy. I paid about $50 for it, and we're going to open it right now. We're going to take this pair of scissors, hopefully I don't cut the box. As well, the box doesn't really have anything too special. This says the specs, what's on the back and what's on the front, which is really standard. It just shows what you're getting. And yes, so this connects to your computer, and it has 48 volts, and we're going to open it right up. As we open the box, it comes with a sticker, which is cool because I can put the sticker on my my computer if I want to, or send it to a friend. Maybe, there we go here. And we're gonna go, and there's nothing really special about the instruction manual, except for the fact that it just tells you what you need to know, different models, different types of brands, just a quick start guide as usual in different languages. I'm not sure what else is in here. I'm gonna double check. Yeah, it just seems to be in different languages. Oh, and this paper just got stuck on here. And it also has a warranty. Oh, this tape is getting in the way of things. And yeah, there's nothing really here to note except for this. I'm not sure what this is, but it seems to be the only thing that's unique out of the rest of the bunch. Alright, so we're going to open to the actual product now, because that's probably what you came here for. And at first glance, I thought there's no cables when I looked at this. From the looks of it, I'm wrong, and thankfully that's the case. This is the audio interface as itself, pretty small, compact, which is good, because if it wasn't, that would not be good, because I don't have a lot of space in here to start off with. So it comes with two things. It comes with the USB, and it comes with this. Now, I'm actually really surprised, to be honest, that this doesn't come with a preamp that connects to your plug-in. It's all powered by a USB from the looks of it, which is really surprising to hear, because most preamps usually are connected to a plug-in. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to work. I actually thought this came with a power volt, but it turns out you just have a USB, a standard USB interface, and it just plugs into your computer as is. So we're going to get some pair of scissors, cut this open like so. And let's just go right around the corners. Go here. And almost got that. Aha, it just seems to be stuck. And as usual, it comes with silica gel to prevent any odors. I think that's, or any moisture actually, I think. And yeah, that's really it for this. It comes with your usual mic on the front, and as well, if you want to connect to an instrument, you can. And there's a direct monitor button, which basically, if you want to connect your headphones, a stereo, like the typical studio jack, you can, and you can hear your feed live. On the top, there is a mic gain, an instant gain, which is this thing right here, and the output. Now, I'm not too sure, 100% sure, if this controls the output heading to the microphone, to the USB, or heading towards here. Well, I actually have to see how this works later on, but I think this works really well, because there's also 48 volts, which is what you need for your microphone. If you don't have 48 volts, I have to say this a lot, you will not have a working XLR microphone that's a condenser. So yeah, this is the audio interface, the Behringer, I might be pronouncing that wrong, the Yuphoria UM2. Alright, so once you've gotten all the equipment for your recording stuff, which I should recommend, you should need an arm or maybe a stand of some sort and a pop filter, you're ready to install this mic. Now this mic, by default, does not actually fit onto this stand. You need to buy an adapter, in which looks like this. It's a small little thing that makes it so it'll fit into a smaller thread like that. This, as you see here, this is pretty large. Now you can Google one of these things for a conversion, like as a thread converter. Now they're only like $4, and it's a lot better to just buy the converter so you don't have to worry. And also do a lot of research when it comes to figuring out what fits what, because at the end of the day, you're going to get a default shock mount that has a large thing like this, which is meant for a larger larger like screw and skid stands, and the one that mine comes with is a lot smaller, so you need to have this in order to make it fit. So we're going to screw this in first, because that is what you need to do in terms of making the stand work. And we're going to screw this all the way in like that, and it's nice and tight. And we're going to go here and start screwing in this arm stand. So we'll go here and make sure it's on the right side. Is it on the right side? Yes, it's on the right side. So we start going to screw this in like so. Very straightforward. It's just, you just have to put this in until it's not screwable, and it's not screwable now. It's pretty tight in there like that. And we're going to tighten this. Now this is an adjustment thing to make sure this goes up and down. If I go like this, you can tell like it's really loose. You got to make sure this is nice and firm, or else it will wobble around, and you don't want that to happen. So the one thing you need to know about the shock mount, which I did not know at first, is that you need to use this to open the clamp. I was like trying to wonder for the longest time how I would fit the microphone in, but that was just being an amateur and not understanding how to do it. So all you really have to do is two things. One, make sure the front's facing. This is the front. If you get it the other way, you'll get a really weird pattern pickup. And so we're going to go like this, and make sure the front's facing, the clamp's open, and then put it down like that. Put the pop filter on like so, and also make sure this is actually not moving around. And that should be it for that part. Now we're going to slowly move this here out of the way, and we're going to install the XLR cable. So this thing is the cable you need. Let's put this in the focus. This is the cable you need in order to connect your MXL microphone to an audio interface. Now if you do not have this cable, which it does not come with, you'll have to buy a cable like this. You'll have to get a cable like this and order for this to work. So we're going to put this right here like so. Snap it in place, as you hear right there. It clicks, and the audio in the other side is already connected to my audio interface over here. Now we're gonna connect this here, and right here you can notice that it needs to have, if I can put this into perspective, this is already connected to my computer. So what you got to do is to make sure of two things. One, that phantom 48 power is up. Now that's off right now, so you have to make sure it's on, or else it won't be perfectly powered. If it's not on, it will not work, or it might be really underpowered and not get the full performance. I'm not really too sure. So now that's all up and running, and the recording stuff is up and good, so we're done here. Alright, so now that you finally have installed it all and make it all happen, it now comes into play where it actually works. And this is me recording on it right now, and we're going to go to the comparison between the Snowball Ice and the MXL 990. Now, in my opinion, I would have to say that this would be a really contrasting comparison, because the Snowball Ice is meant for like budget microphones where it's actually pretty good sounding for its value, but the MXL 990, in my opinion, sounds a lot more natural in terms of sound wise and stuff, and almost you'll notice significantly between the tests what will sound different and what will sound the same. If you don't hear it, then well, I can't really convince you then the case. Anyways, I'm going to play the Blue Ice first, and then I'll play the MXL 990 second, so it'll show up on the screen right now. This is an audio test comparing the Blue Snowball Ice against the MXL 990. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. This is an audio test comparing the Blue Snowball Ice against the MXL 990. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Alright, so that was a basic comparison between the two microphones. If you want to see a comparison between the MXL and other microphones, there's a lot of resources online showing comparisons, and they usually do good against really high-end microphones, despite the MXL only being like about $70 to $90. Now, the thing that you should probably be asking me was, how much did this all cost altogether? Now, if you were to ask me about the audio interface and the microphone, it'd be about around $150. If you have to also add the pop filter, which costs about maybe $10, and the arm, which costs about maybe $30 to $40, it comes around over $200 or more dollars. Now, this is obviously an investment that you have to consider if you want to actually get a decent setup going. Now, in my opinion, I think it's worth the price investment, because later on I'll be doing more and more commentaries. It's going to have a distinct difference between sounding different with a snowball and sounding a lot more crisper and more detailed on an MXL 990. I have a bunch of friends that have been using the MXL 990 and they love it, and for the price itself on the microphone alone, it's almost a steal of a deal. Because most studio microphones are like $200+ from what I've known correctly. So the two things you need to know about the XLR microphones is, one, it needs an audio interface that you can connect to your computer if you plan to do recordings on the computer, and a 40 volt power supply. Now, not volt, yeah, you need a power supply that is phantom power, and it has to be 48 volts. If your audio interface you're buying does not have 48 volt phantom power, your microphone will probably not work, especially if it's a condenser microphone. So make sure when you're looking at products that you get the right type of product for your microphone. The one I got was the Behringer UM2 Yuphoria. I'll put the link in the description for the product so that you guys can have a good idea. Now, there is other interfaces you can use, but I'm not too sure about them, and I can't really give an opinion on how well they are or if they work or not unless I actually look at the product and tell you, well, it has phantom power, it connects to your USB, and it works. Another thing that you need to know about these condenser microphones is their audio pattern. Now, as you can see, I have it facing towards me like this, and it should always face towards you like this, because the direction is key on this thing. I'll actually prove it to you right now. If I move towards the left like this, or if I move towards the right like this, you might hear it normal as is. But if I move to the back of it like this, you really can't hear me as well, because the back actually is improper. There is a weak pattern at the back, which can be a con, because if you get back noise from like whatever's blowing, you maybe have like a vent behind you, I don't know, it might pick up that noise and deter your audio, but I highly doubt that you're going to be having that issue. So yeah, be sure that the front's facing you, the logo's on the front, and if you're getting any other type of cardioid microphone or condenser microphone, that you make sure it faces you in the front. As well, if you're going to be recording with audio with a reasonable distance, make sure you're about at least 6 to 8 inches or maybe 12 inches top, and make sure you're not any farther away, because if you're farther away, your microphone starts actually weakening, and to the point where the pattern or like the sounding on it sounds actually a little bit far distance. It doesn't sound really good, and it almost sounds like a waste of an investment to have it so far away. So be sure you have a proper distance between your microphone and yourself. If you actually get really close to it, as I'm doing right now, I'm starting to sound like an audio podcaster, because the booming actually makes it, when you get closer to it, makes that type of sound effect. As well, you should also be considering the fact to invest into a pop filter. If you do not get a pop filter for your microphone that's going to actually hurt you in the future, especially if it's a condenser microphone, because what's going to happen is it's going to every time you talk, you usually condense moisture onto your microphone, and over time, if you do so, it will actually cause issues with your microphone, especially condenser microphones, because they are, once again, really sensitive. I have to not stress this enough. So be careful of not so yeah, make sure you do get a pop filter, because if you don't, you're gonna have to say be extremely careful. Actually, at that point, I'd be considering that you shouldn't even having a condenser microphone at that point. So yes, you got to have a pop filter, or else you're just going to be wasting a huge investment on an expensive mic, be replacing it often, because there might be issues in the future. So get one. It's worth $10. As you see right there, I accidentally just spit, and that probably just saved my microphone. Anything else I would probably tell you, if you have any questions, I would love to answer them in the comments below, especially if they're microphone related, because yeah, I feel like when I first did this, I almost bought the wrong audio interface. I bought an audio interface with almost like 12 volt phantom power, and that would have been so disappointed if I bought it, and yeah, that happened. It did not work. So as well, I guess the one thing I gotta note is there is a USB version of the MXL 990, and there's also the MXL 009. Now, both of those are pretty good of what I've been told, but I wouldn't be too sure about the MXL 990 USB version, because it was originally meant as an XLR versus the 009, which I think was just meant for USB. So both are really great mics, this 990 XLR and the 009 USB, but the USB version's almost $300 or $400. So in my opinion, you're saving a little bit by doing this setup anyways. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to stay for more content, make sure to subscribe. And as always, have a great day, please, and see you guys later.